Hello there, this is day 3 of using your Cricut Maker for sewing, and we are going to be sewing a whimsical daisy coaster. Please consider subscribing to my channel. I have over 500 sewing and quilting tutorials. Also, like and commenting really does help my channel. I am not paid nor sponsored during any part of this video. And also be aware that each Cricut machine is different, so please consider doing a test run before using it on any of your best fabrics, just to make sure that everything works out. Hello there, this is my Cricut home screen, and this is where you will find all of the projects that I'm sharing. This is day 3 of my using the Cricut Maker for sewing videos, and it will be on here. It's currently not on here because I've not added it just yet, because all these videos have been pre-filmed and they will be here when you're watching. So I'm going to bring that up now. So here is the Sewing a Whimsy Daisy Coaster. This is a design that I made. You're free to use it however you want. And all you're going to need is fabric, quarters batting, and some iron-on vinyl. So I've turned my Cricut machine on, because it'll only connect if the Cricut machine's on. So I'm going to click Make It. I'm going to click on the on mat for any material. It's good for a 12 by 12. The first cut is going to be the fabric cuts. So these are 6 by 6 squares. I think it might just be, no, they are 6 by 6. I think Cricut just has this bit here, so there's a minimum it has to go around in order for it to cut. I'm just going to move it right onto that one there. There we go. So I'm going to get my fabric set up in order to cut my first 2 pieces. There's this 1 and 2, which are both fabric. So go ahead and let's get started. So this is my first piece of fabric that I've put down onto my cutting mat. I already had some 10 by 10 cuts, so I'm going to put this into my Cricut machine. So when I'm back at my computer here, I am then just going to apply the continue button, and then that'll take us over to the next screen. Once it connects over to your Cricut Maker, I am then going to apply the setting here, which says medium fabrics like cotton. So I'm just going to press that. I have these all bookmarked. These are all of the ones that I use quite a lot. So I'm going to click on that. I will generally press them more, and it's going to tell us that it wants the rotary blade for cutting this. So I already have that. So now I'm going to press the Cricut button and get it to cut for me. So here we are over at the Cricut. I am going to load my machine. And then once it's loaded, the C will end up flashing. So I'm going to press on that. And it's going to cut for me. If your blade is dulling or your fabric may be kind of thicker and you're worried that it hasn't gone all the way through, you can send it through again, and by doing that you just press the C button. Don't unload it, because it will not match up again to that first cut. So just press that C button without unloading it, and then it will take that back through again and make that cut once more. Whenever I pull my fabric off, I always do it from the bottom up. You will get a little bit of fraying. The next part we're going to do is cut out the sections for the flower. So the first bit is the black piece, and you're going to need at least, say, about 5.5 by 5.5 looking at that. And this is kind of like, it creates an outline around that daisy pattern and kind of makes it almost look like it's hand drawn. So let's put that onto the mat and start cutting. So here we go. So we need to change this material. So I'm going to click here and then I'm going to press iron on, everyday iron on. Now it's going to tell us that we need to change the blade over to the fine point blade, which I'm going to do that. And then also to change that mirror setting, see how it says mirror off? I'm going to press edit. And you're going to come down here and you're going to press mirror on. You can press done. And then we're going to change that blade over and then we're going to start cutting the vinyl. That is a really shiny black side and there's a more duller colour. The duller colour is where the glue is. So you're going to place it shiny side down, and then when we go to cut it, we also want to put the mirror on because this will reverse our image. It doesn't matter if you forget, you'll just have to make sure that you don't press mirror on for any of the other parts either. I'm just going to put mirror on so we all remember to do that. So this part is where you have to weed the vinyl out. So I'm going to pull that down in a place where my design is nowhere to be found. And then I'm going to start pulling my vinyl up. It comes off really easily. I just happen to have one finger less, that's all. Let's jump, pulling. And just make sure that all of the vinyl is away, because whatever is left will end up getting stuck onto your project and you don't want that to happen. So basically you're going to come in and you're going to weed that other section away. Basically I just want the outline. I'm going to do the same thing to all of the petals. So this here is the outline of the flower complete. I'm going to go ahead and do the other sections. So the Cricut always moves on to the next section. So this is the next section. I'm going to do it in white. The reason why I put it in pink, because I wanted these the two fabric sections to show up first. So if I would have done it in white, then it would, I could have done that, I guess. Anyway, so I'm going to do this in white. So let's get this one cut. Don't forget we are going to mirror. So I'm going to press mirror on and done. And then I'm going to put this to more. And I'm going to see what size I need. So I need, again, the same sort of size, 5.5 by 5.5 in white. So once again, we're going to get the weeding tool and we're just going to come off the side a little bit. And then we're just going to pull this away and it'll reveal the white part of the daisy. So we're back over to the final section and it's a yellow section and it needs to be about 2.5 by 2.5. Don't forget we need to mirror, so I'm going to put that setting on and we're going to hit done. You can also move this circle anywhere around on the mat. If you find it easier to go from this one here, then you can do that. So I'm going to hit done. And then when you check it again, it's right by that one. So let's cut the yellow section out. Quite a lot of the mistakes that I always do with my Cricut is the positioning of where I place things on the mat. So just be careful and just double check that everything's correct where you place things and you should be good. So I'm just peeling this back. So this is the center of my flower. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut this down a little bit more. And you'll see why later on. Okay, so I'm not paid or sponsored to say this. This is actually my friend's Cricut press. I'm probably going to invest in my own, and I'll tell you the reason why. So rather than using your iron, so this is an iron, it has a load of holes in it. So the first thing that I like about the Cricut press is that it doesn't have the holes in it. Because if you try to press this onto some iron-on vinyl, you will see these holes on your vinyl. And I'll just show you the Cricut press underneath. It is totally a dry iron and there's no holes on this at all. Another thing that I like about it is you can set the temperature to whatever it needs to be for the material that you're using. Another thing that I like about it is it's got a timer on it. You don't have to count. It's going to tell you like when it's heated up and also when the time is to lift off. It's also a very heavy weight and you can press down really firmly on it. Like I said, I'm not paid or sponsored and I will be buying one of these. I'm borrowing it from my friend right now. So I'm going to take my piece of fabric here and I'm going to start with that white section of iron on, and also while I'm doing that I'm going to get my Cricut all heated up. You're wondering how long to keep your heat settings for, there is a heat guide on your home page. So I'm going to press that. It sends you over to their actual page. The other day I wasn't able to click on these. Here you go. So this here is for the EasyPress. That's the one that I've got. So basically I would look for my material here and it's an everyday iron on. Everyday iron on. And then it asks you to select your base material and it is 100% cotton. And then I'm going to tell it that I'm using the Cricut pressing mat because that comes with the actual press, and I'm going to press apply. Now it tells me I need to preheat the pad for 5 seconds. I need to do the temperature to 115 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 seconds. However, this is a layered design. So basically they always say cut it down in half if you're doing it in layers. So my first one's going to be for 15 seconds because it's going to be multiple layers. So it's to firm pressure and to slowly remove the liner once it is cool to touch. So you're not going to take that plastic off until it is actually all cooled down. So here you go, it tells me what supplies I need, and then it's going to tell me the prep. Preheat it to 315, place the cotton on a clean Cricut pressing mat, and then preheat for 5 seconds. It wants me to actually preheat my fabric first. So let's go ahead and do that. Turn the machine on. It tells me to set it to 315. It always remembers the last one that you set it for. And then I'm going to reduce this timer down to 15. And then it's going to have this red light here. And then when it's heated up, it'll turn to green. It'll do an alarm and it'll turn to green. It's come up to temperature, the lights turned green, and then I remembered that I have to warm up my fabric before I use it. So I'm going to take the whole unit over. This is the fabric. I'm going to get the press, I'm going to put it over the top, and I am going to press start, press firmly down, and there you go. That is preheated. Now what I'm going to do is take the white section of my flower, just make sure that there's no vinyl stuck anywhere because that will get pressed on too. So I'm going to place it down, making sure I have space for my seam allowances, which I do. Then what I do, I use a Teflon sheet and I'll put that over the top. And then I will take my Cricut press and I'm going to set it back to 15 seconds. take the press, apply it, press start, press firmly down, and then it's going to beep again. I'm going to take the Teflon sheet away. Now I have to wait for this to cool down. It will be extremely hot. Leave it to cool down. It's just a little bit difficult to peel it off when it's warm, really. So I'm going to peel it back. Just to be really careful. Now, in order to get the yellow section as central to the centre as possible, what I'll do is pop it onto the back of the black one. It may not line up perfectly. It really doesn't matter because I really think it looks kind of good. Now that you need to match, oh, get off. Now once you've done that, you need to match where the petals are in relation to the black sections. And then once you've done it, kind of, you can just place that on like so and take it over and press. And honestly, it doesn't have to be perfect. It kind of looks quirky and hand-drawn when it's not kind of in line with each other. So I'm going to take this over to the press and I'm going to press it down for 15 seconds. Once again, wait for this to cool down because it's too hot. I don't mind that it looks off-centered like this. I'm going to press this down. But if you do want it to match up perfectly like this, then make sure that this center circle is in line properly before you press it. But which one do you like? The one that's a little bit more off center or the one that's actually more perfect, so to speak? Anyway, I'm going to press this down and I'm going to press it for 20 seconds now that we have all the layers on. We're going to wait for this to cool down and then we're going to peel this off and we're going to start sewing. Now what you're going to do next is you're going to have the daisy part facing up. You're going to take your other section of fabric and you are going to put that face down. And you're going to get your quilter's batten. It's what they use inside of quilts. And you're going to put that on top. Now you're going to get your wonder clips. You're going to clip all the way around. When sewing a square, you never want to start at a corner here because corners are very tricky to keep straight and pointed. So what we're going to do is we are going to mark out an opening that is 2.5 inches here. However you want to remember this opening, you can put 2 wonder clips there, you can put 2 pins there. However you need to remember that you are not sewing this shut. You're going to start here, you're going to sew all the way around this square and you're going to stop at the top here and leave this open. So I have sewed all the way around, leaving this opening. So now sometimes you need to just trim off this bulk and I have to trim it off. So cut close to the stitches but not on the stitches. And then you can turn your project right sides out through the opening that we had created. So a couple of tips here: don't leave your corners like this, it doesn't look very nice. Just take a chopstick or something and just poke them corners out so they look nice and sharp. And then another tip is with this opening, you want to push it back, make sure it's in line with everything else, and just have a play with it and make sure it lines up. What you're going to do is take this over to the iron, get this to join up as best as possible, and you're going to press from the back of your work to get it all nice and flat. Once you have this looking perfect and all lined up, you're going to top stitch all the way around, and then this will in turn shut this closed. I would like to thank you so much for joining me for using your Cricut Maker for sewing. Don't forget, I have this Cricut page, well obviously you know, and I'll see you in day 4, which is tomorrow. Bye-bye.